too loud. And so, like, I don't know when to get. Okay. So, it's saying that we're too loud right now. I don't know how to tweak it.
Today, we are going to be talking and taking a look at bad parenting.
Oh, that's not it.
As an overview, I would say that right now in America, we have a problem with woke parenting in particular. Like these parents need to be parented. And so
Hello. Okay, actually. Hello. Okay, I think that's good. Now, instruments. I don't know why things are going haywire. Okay. Okay, so it's just off completely. But now it's on. Okay. Instrument.
They are trying to raise their children so that they can put up a status on Facebook and get applause for being so loving and welcoming. And at the end of the day, kids are little rugrats and they need to be parented and told what's right and what's wrong. Not that everything that they do is right. There's just
again, I don't think that all the parents are doing that. I do think the last one was a lazy piece of garbage because she didn't even look up the research and then said, I'm not going to look up the research, and then banned the whatever. So, do what you will with that.
Too much validation going on for children, and parents have completely abandoned.
I don't think there's a single. Find me a clip where she's talking about how gay people and trans people aren't supported enough back when people were killing themselves before people started leaning onto the other extreme. So please find me a clip.
What it actually means to rear a child. My general parenting philosophy is I'm the boss, you're the applesauce. My husband and I genuinely believe we are the parents, you are the child. Obviously you can imagine, basically my husband's English, so if you've ever seen like Nanny 911 when they bring the nannies over from London and they're like, you should not do that. That's my husband. And I support that. Kids need rules, kids need schedules, they need guidelines. There's a time and a place, for children to express themselves. But, we believe in the word no. There's nothing that bothers me more than parents who I meet that are like, we just don't want our child to have any negative reinforcement. We just don't want our child to hear the word no.
Okay, so if they're talking about specifically the gay and trans thing, I think that what they decided was I don't really want them. She said she didn't want her to unaliven herself at all. So I think her main focus was we just gotta do whatever we can to prevent our kids from killing themselves. So they went too far, I'm really gonna but so yeah.
I'm like, are these the kids that grow up and become like rapists and killers? Like they don't understand the word no? Like what do you mean you don't understand the word no? Kids need to understand that they are allowed to do certain things and they are not allowed to do certain things. Okay, so let's dive into some of these videos that you guys have for me.
The school district now is a freaking nightmare. I go to my child and my kiddo is standing right there. I hand them the birth certificate and I say, see right here, this is his sex. He is a boy. He goes by he, him. I had no issues at past school, and I don't expect to have any issues. And I swear it was like Karen, the transphobic secretary, was just waiting on us that day. She said she wouldn't put my child in the school system as his name because it has to match a birth certificate. But again, I had no issues at the last school. I told her I absolutely would not enroll my child as a female. And she said, you will, and you are. She enrolled my child as a female, then sent mail to my house with my child's dead name on it. At this point, my child is supposed to start school on Monday. They enrolled as a female. Every single teacher in the school knew about my child. And the student told the little girl was coming to class. This is a visual representation of my mood. Like and follow for part 3.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so her representation was a little bit weird of her mood. That was a little weird. But okay, so this is kind of steering away from the Christian thing, because again, I'm starting the video out with with a not so cynical. So we're gonna watch it again and break it down. So but actually no, we don't really need to do that. So basically, well, number one, I think, yeah, this is the same thing as, people aren't trans people don't exist. So they went and said, a little girl's coming, so you can't just do it. So if she wanted to do it just for legal papers, she could have just did it. So I don't see a problem with that. It's a little bit like weird, I don't know what to say, whether or not that's right or wrong to enroll your kid as using a dead name. Yeah, I think it's pretty spiteful to say, a little girl's coming. I agree. In F that secretary, because she knew the guy was trans. She knew the guy was trans. Then she didn't spread the word that a girl was coming instead of a boy. So then that just sets it up for yeah. Which means that they're not prepared to say, a person of transgender is coming, to get the school prepared, so they're not like whatever. But hey, I guess not.
A visual representation of my mood. Like and follow for part 3.
Yeah, that's scary. That's actually just scary. I mean, if you check on that child in 18 years, that child is going to be so messed up, and the fact that this is on the internet and nothing's going to be done about it is the worst part of it. Like, people are basically saying, I'm abusing my child, I'm going to make a TikTok about it.
Okay, let's put this in George Floyd sense. Cops are saying I can kill any thug that I want to. Yeah. They're saying, I can kill any thug that I want to with the George Floyd situation on camera. And they did that with Tamir Rice, they did it with Eric Garner, and then eventually, it's up. So, yeah. So, she cares now. But then when it comes to black people, she doesn't really care at all.
Abuse my child, and nothing's going to happen to me because we've mainstreamed child abuse.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, no, ma'am.
What was it? Also, when I said she only cares about when it comes to black people, I'm talking about the whole cops issue. Like, if it's like transgender, then she's also gonna snipe at it because it's the opposite. Because it's the
child abuse.
Other side of the spectrum. So when my daughter starts yelling, when my daughter starts telling me about a movie when the kids were putting on war paint.
What? No, ma'am. No. What, you watch this at school? What's it called? Oh, no. With children, white people should not ever be talking about putting on war paint. That is racism. That is appropriation. The ancestors died trying to defend themselves. Okay, so no, that is not okay. Movies that I enjoy that I can no longer watch because
Okay. So it's perfect time for the ad break. Okay. So I don't necessarily
Next, go to Auto and start adding products. You can select from hundreds of products across
disagree.
mugs, calendars, and much more.
No, I
Spend your time making art and marketing your design. Gelato handles production, packaging, and delivers to your customer.
Most things in America are racist.
Go to gelato.com.
That's just a fact. Like, most things in America are racist. It's everywhere, and eventually you'll see that quite frankly. I mean, you see in any shows. I mean, they literally had a black guy be a coon. Literally had a black guy be a coon. So, do what you do with that. But hey, whatever.
You can consume more information. It allows you to learn from the best resources available instead of being stuck reading something that you do not enjoy. It can also help you to save time while still retaining information if you reuse to succeed.
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous. So let's just stop. This you can't mock her for this, especially when you have coons like Candace. So, and then you see that and like, okay, well, I guess it's kind of racist, but not really. Like, no, it's. Oh, okay. I got it now because my own thing was down. My own volume was down my thingy.
Homophobia,
Whoa. Oh,
transphobia, mocking people with disabilities,
okay. What happened to the volume though? And this. Okay. Is it the instrument?
sexual assault, misogyny. I'm not gonna touch that one because you don't know.
Or is it the
And
mic?
before you go saying, why can't you just let her enjoy things? Because when you know better, you do better. And when you know
Okay, so
better, you
what's
teach
going
your
on with the
children
volume right
better.
now? Oh, it's on
And
mute.
if I just
Well, that thing's loud. Okay, so is it instrument to turn it down? Holy cow.
The only people that hurt because of it are children when they're designed to see every little thing and every little interaction that they have.
Okay,
There's laws and there's policies that impact. Sure.
okay, I'm turning it backwards. Why is it turning forwards? I don't get it.
Americans, don't let your children wear war because they died fighting for their lives.
And she's a coon, so you can't really. It's hard to hear her out on the subject because she's a bit of a coon. Okay, come on, no, have it lower.
sexual assault,
No.
misogyny.
Okay.
I'm not gonna touch that one because you don't know. And before you go saying, why can't you just let her enjoy things? Because when you know better, you do better. And when you know better, you teach your children better. And if I just let her go along with it and tell her it's okay, then she'll grow up thinking that it's no big deal, and then she'll grow up ignorant like you.
Oh gosh, it's just so much. It's first off, it's so much ignorance. She talks about talking about war paint, obviously a reference to Native Americans. Don't let your children wear war paint because they died fighting for their lives. No, people don't know this, but the majority, 90% plus of Native Americans died because they caught smallpox, and the settlers had no idea that they had smallpox. So that was by disease. It wasn't a genocide that was trying to be committed against the Native Americans.
Okay, so what are the Trail of Tears, Candace? What are the Trail of Tears? I want to know. I want to know what the Trails of Tears are. Because I thought the Trails of Tears was about a bunch of Indians dying. But I guess not. But that was like a couple, maybe a decade or so into Americas. But yeah, I mean, even if they most of them died by smallpox, who cares? The fact that it's still there and the Trail of Tears. So I get it. I get it for what she said. I think she's her own reaction, but I think it's a healthy reaction. But at some point, we have to come out of that. But I don't see a problem. But she's a coon, so of course she's not gonna. And whoa, that's really loud. Nobody says, "Hey, I'm gonna listen to the other side and try to figure out what they're saying." Nope.
Native Americans cannibalized one another, literally, ate one another. And you can find that even in the New York Times, which acknowledged that. In doing an anthropological study of what was left over in Colorado, they determined that they did that. So this whole idea that Native Americans were just gatherers sitting around kumbayaing until settlers came is just so fictitious and ridiculous. Human beings have been at war since the beginning of humanity. For whatever reason, the only people that they want to bear any responsibility for that war are Americans. And I just can't imagine raising a kid that can't enjoy basic things. Like, kids shouldn't have to think like this.
Wait, so one time she was saying, "Oh, you saying the word no is," I mean, this is kind of like a bit of an overreaction, and it's different, but I mean, so never mind. Just
I remember actually when I was a kid, I loved the Pocahontas soundtrack
again, she's a coon, so you can't really take her word.
so much. That was back when we had the little VHS cassettes that you could put in, and then you could just rewind it and listen to it over and over again. And I just, to me, that's a celebration, of Native American culture. I never thought of it as like, well, this is a horrible, song, and how could Disney possibly do this? And we're horrible people. Like, children are supposed to be wildly imaginative, and beyond that, everything they do, what is the intent behind something? When a child is dressing up like something, it's because they're envious. They go, I love this so much, I want to look like this person. And you don't want them to feel that way. It's like the disappearance of the Land O'Lakes butter lady. So your solution to the idea that we disappeared Native American culture is to disappear it even further and allow it to be seen nowhere. I mean, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just
No, she's talking about telling about the good sides. Because what good sides does Obama have in our museum? Right? Yeah. Okay. So I think that she's actually a lot more focused on the good sides. That's all.
just sheer stupidity. And yeah, it's gonna really suck to have that as a mother growing up.
Are you sure? I mean, does everything have to?
Okay. When your kid tells you that tells you they or someone they know experience racism, I'm unsure. I mean, everything has to be about racism. Okay. So funny story. I really hope my mother doesn't mind for telling you. It's not funny actually. So we had this job, right? I'm assuming he was the best, most enthusiastic employee, especially since he was the newest. He had no training. They just said, "Okay, go ahead, start." He every time he would talk about, he kept saying, because it was a little bit messy. Every time he talked about, he kept saying, when I leave at the place, I want to be like clean, nice looking, because it was a little bit run down. It was a little bit of a fixer upper. Not really like, yeah, so like too much construction work, but he wanted to leave it looking nice and clean, kind of like a, not fully, but kind of like a, if you see what do you call it, Kitchen Nightmares, kind of like that. So he went to yeah, he went to do it, and then so yeah, but then you want to wait, so, and then of course we would patronize the heck out of it. But we didn't get any discounts, but we'd always go there because it was like literally the best store. And then a bunch, I think we started spreading the word that was a really good store and stuff. And then they fired him because he was there's a bunch of like women there, and he was talking about parenting, I guess, and he wanted to like be checking up on the kids, like, oh, how's your kids doing, stuff like that, just to be a nice employee, because he never knows what's like out in the real world. And then they laid him up when they fired him, and they laid him off, and it was for racism. But but like, yeah, and it's wrong to say, oh, you sure not everything has to be racist, like. That number one, turn to a kid is bad unless they already have a track record of saying things are racist when it's not racist. Okay, but if it's not, then appropriate response.
It's all the time. Oh, honey, I'm really sorry that happened. Sometimes we think that racism is a thing of the past, or that it's about one individual person or a group of people treating others differently. In reality, racism is systemic. That means that it's written into our laws and policies, and it
Crime Bill Biden.
every part of our life.
Our Hillary, pretty sure she's the senator, pretty sure she's still in power, said that we're the president, we brought to heal. Our president, you don't know what he said? He said he didn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle.
I'm glad you're bringing attention to it.
This is perfect. Now, of course, I would say, okay, tell me. I would say, let's sit down, let's talk about what happened, and then judge whether or not it was racist. But yeah, I mean, I have text messages of like, I have text messages of when we thought someone was being racist, they would in those uncertain terms assure us that we're not inferior. And we have a white mom, and she ensures in no uncertain terms. You know, my brother, he was around like some like higher ups, kind of like, you know, a little bit more people a little bit people in power, and then he was worried because he thought that that guy would be racist, and then mom on no uncertain terms said that, you know, he wasn't fair. So I mean, like, that was pretty cool to see. So yeah. So this girl, I would say, so let's sit down and talk about it. Because, you know, of course, not everything is racist, but you gotta sit down and, you know. But I mean, you know how Candace is such a coon, and racism is not life support.
Which law? Which policy, Mom? Mom can't answer it because there's literally not a single law or policy that is in place that is racist. There just is not. It's just a repeat talking point. They just keep saying there's systemic racism and there's laws and there's policies that impact Black Americans. And then when you ask them which one specifically, they can't answer the question because, as I said, you're dealing with parents that are stupid and they're passing down.
They're stupid. They're stupid. This is why I keep saying that this is all the coon, straight from the coon's mouth.
To their children. And by the way, the fact that these parents are always doing this online should really tell you that this is not about fighting any sorts of oppression. It's about getting likes and clicks. I mean, there's a
no. It was a tip. It was a tip. It was saying when a kid comes to you, this tip is so funny because this video was actually made for Candace to see. It was actually made for Candace to see, because this is saying when your kid comes up to you and says it's racism, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's sit down and talk about it. And there's systemic racism. Hillary, pretty sure she was a senator. She's pretty sure she's still in power. Pretty sure she's still in power. What do you call it? Biden, the extreme racist, worked with a lot of racist, and Child's coon, Kamala coon. It's all over the place. And Child is not officially, but not officially. She's still a lawyer or somewhere up there in that legal spectrum. But she's not a what do you call it? She's not officially the Supreme Court judge, but if she is, that's a disaster for Black people. And we need to get that person removed immediately. But we can't unless they die. So we're stuck with them.
That's happening.
Narcissism. Okay, Candace.
They do a lot of this stuff because they want to show their friends how amazing and how woke they are. It's really pathetic, and it's just.
Okay, what evidence do you have for that? Because this video, ironically, was made just for you.
Because the only people that hurt because of it are children. When they're designed to see every little thing and every little interaction that they have.
You know what's funny? My dad. So I had just figured out like a decent amount of like racism. You know, both Republican, left, and all stuff like that. I felt a decent amount of racism. So one time I went too far. I said something I crossed the line, but I said that something was racist, and I didn't have a lot of evidence for it. You know what my dad said? He said, not everything is racist. He didn't say, does everything have to be racist? There's a difference. He said, not everything is racist, and that I need to stop looking for racism, and just, if I find it, I find it. Just like for example, George Floyd being killed, racism. Also, Candace, went to me about how people in Miami train, how the cops in Miami train. They shoot, they target practice is black people, and even if that's gone, that was still there, and there's still more than racism. But yeah, so that told me stop looking for racism, and just when it comes across you, then bring it up, but don't look for racism. And that was good advice. So I don't see a problem. Okay, I don't know why these people bombarding me. Oh, probably because
You download footage from Artwood. It is yours to use ever and ever and ever.
no one cares.
An act of racism.
So you're singing to him. Does he enjoy the singing? And what are you singing to him?
Oh my God, we have Ellen DeGeneres. I've heard pretty nasty stories about her. I saw pretty nasty clips of her, but let's just see it. Okay. He's white right now.
It's a lot of show tunes because that's what I like. So we're raising him gay until he decides he's straight.
Okay.
And on the way back from the hospital, we played like Britney Spears because that was what Justin demanded to listen to. That was his first exposure to music. It's a lot of singing. I'm writing a lot of songs for him. Everything has a song. I got a poop in my hip step and my dad. Song about anything.
Wow. Well, that's a catchy one. So you're raising
the audience laughter. I know that's not actually the audience, so whoever's playing that clip is playing it way too frequently. Way too frequently.
until he says he's straight, but you'll love him just the same if he is straight, right?
Absolutely. Actually, Justin and I were saying he's actually going to be, I could just play to be like such a straight kid. Who knows? I mean, do whatever he wants. But I just have a feeling you're going to want to play football. I can just tell. And I'm going to have to learn how to do all those things with him.
Right. Well, if there is a God, yes, because it would be wonderful to see you trying to do that with him. So you're reading.
Okay, so this is wrong. Teaching your kid to be gay is wrong. Okay?
To him also, does he have a favorite book?
Well, we like some of the classics. Like we have about eight copies of The Hungry Hungry Caterpillar. But one of the new books that I found that I really love is a book called the Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish Swish Swish.
You joined TikTok. Here.
Okay. He's actually training his kid to be gay. Yeah, this is not okay because it's like teaching your kid other sinful stuff. They teach your kid to be a liar. But this is, yeah, no. I thought that this was like kind of a joke, but he's saying that right, kid. I don't believe this is a joke anymore.
Wow, I didn't know that book, but that's I like that tune better.
Actually, until the very end, I thought he was being intentionally funny, like it was just a joke.
Yeah, me too. I actually thought it was just a.
He's gonna raise his kid to be gay until he comes out as straight. Like I thought it was just being tongue in cheek, and it was lighthearted and it was a good interview until he said that he was reading a drag queen book to a child. I have so many opinions about the whole drag queen thing. I think it is such an entryway for pedophilia, and that this has become a cultural phenomenon of letting, perverts dress up around children and read story time to them, and trying to normalize that. Like, it's a normal thing for a grown man to want to dress up as a woman and be around small children. It's always really disturbed me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean,
I thought he was just being funny, tongue in cheek, but the end there, I was like, okay, this is a weird book for you to have, unless that was supposed to be a part of a skit.
Actually, yes, I do. And
do you agree that newborns should be treated as non-binary, be referred to as they until they discover their gender identity? Okay. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
it's kind of weird because just
She looks normal.
my family and I were
Okay, so because she has not a couple, but because she has a decent amount of tattoos, she has to go and make that comment. Or the hair. Who cares? I think the hair is actually pretty cool. And
talking about that
yeah.
and how if we had another baby, say like tomorrow, that we would probably not gender that baby until they were old enough to decide on their own what they felt like.
It's just, you can look at that person and see that this is not a person that's mentally stable, because you just don't make yourself look like that unless you have issues. You just don't. I'm sorry.
Well, okay.
And people that are trying to pretend that that's normal.
Okay, I don't understand my positive work. What people do you know, Candace, that get a bunch of tattoos and then they're crazy after, or else like that? I've been around with people with a decent amount of tattoos, and they're just fine. They're better than you, coon. Holy crap!
Don't conform to standards. It's like, no, there's something wrong with you. You're actually screaming.
No,
Amazon, you can use this browser extension that automatically
gets that hand. Okay, so turn down.
That's also a reason why you're deciding that you don't want to gender your child, because you're screaming for attention. You want.
I don't think so. What facts do you have?
That you're
at least it's not as treating them as transgender at 3.
not being normal because you desperately seek some attention. Unfortunately, when you're using your child as a conduit to that attention, you're also causing harm. I mean, the idea that children have it within them, the ability to make decisions, it's so radical. It's so crazy. And the sad part is that when that child becomes an adult and realizes is that they suffered from not having an adult that raised them, it will be too late. They'll have mostly ruined parts of their lives, and so it's unfortunate to see that. I wish that we had a proper CPS system that would actually get involved when they knew that they had adults that were, raising their son as a daughter or their daughter as a son, because kids just don't make that decision. Parents do. It's like I always say that when you see the trans thing and someone says that they have a trans child or non-gender conforming child, it's like meeting someone that tries to tell you that their dog is vegan. Like, who's making the decisions. Dogs eat meat, and children do not think about gender and sexuality.
In school, I'm sure they found this stuff from school, but yeah.
Okay, so these are the kids that are being segregated and forced to eat outside. This isn't really bad parenting. It's an extension of bad government policy.
So they're forced to eat outside. Let's see that clip again.
Okay, so these are the kids that are being segregated.
Oh yeah, those are, wow. Okay.
Okay, so these are the kids that are being segregated and forced to eat outside. This isn't really bad parenting. parents who would ever allow this to happen to their children. I can't even wrap my head around me being okay with this. Sending my child to school and learning that they're eating outside. They have a virtual 0% of catching COVID and dying from it. Rather, I just can't imagine what parents have been this adaptable.
So you never seen an outside cafeteria? I'm pretty sure there's a decent amount of those that exist.
To what really is just tyrannical policy that's ultimately dehumanizing your child. So
so eating outside is dehumanizing, but then telling someone that oh, you look normal, when obviously that's also supposed to be a step to say you don't look normal. And the way that they talk about people, the way that the right talks about people who have tattoos, or at least the Daily Wire, the way the Daily Wire talks about people who have tattoos, that's why I call it the bigger circle. The way that about tattoos, but that's not dehumanizing. But having kids eat outside is dehumanizing.
Just the circumstances make no sense to me. This is it's horrible, and it's something that all parents across the nation should be standing up against. I think, as a final thought,
now I live in Maine, so eating outside is different than where she's in what if she was in Florida, and it rains. Everything looks miserable when it rains. So what if they're in decent weather? But if they're sitting on the ground, that's too far. Give them chips. If they're on the ground, that's not okay. But yeah,
shame works, and that parents should feel free to comment to other parents that what they're doing is disturbing. I think the reason why this has become so popular online and we're seeing so much of this is because the parents that are raising their children correctly are silent because they're so fearful that, well, I just don't want to be that parent at school, or I don't want to be that parent that is told that they're not accepting because my child is a non-conforming, trans robot. You need to stop worrying about acceptance and actually start thinking about the society that your child is going to be forced to grow up in. And so find your voice, say that you find to be disturbing. And in most circumstances for me, like I would report, I honestly would report half the things that I see to police officers, to child protective services. Because
you hear that? She goes to the police officer. Hey. There's a Negro over there. That's his third time that you stolen from that shop. Go arrest him up for life, okay? Okay? Alright, cool. I genuinely think that she has done stuff like that in the past. And of course, shoplifting's not okay. But in this scenario, she's looking for it so this is the third time. I know that's not really how it goes. I'm pretty sure it's not if you commit the thing 3 times, but if you get convicted and charged 3 times. But still.
It's really alarming to me that child abuse has become mainstreamed.
Okay, so that was Candace Owens' stupid little opinions. So overall, most of the parents here, they're, I'm gonna say, decent.
Candace Owens
right now. That's next episode. But so far, these parents are completely okay. Most of them. Some of them, it's not okay to have your kids be gay. At the same time, though, it's also okay to say, hey, is racist or not. So this time, okay, so yeah, just let me know what you think. Any sort of media interaction, as far as liking, disliking, or commenting, or subscribing would be nice. And let me know. Let me know if we want to go on the live stream, in because she has the debate, so we can go ahead and do that. But for now, I'm out. And yeah.